Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night's Paranormal Question of the Day. We'll be right back right after this short message.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Paranormal Question of the Day. We do live podcasts with live guests, live paranormal investigations as well. We do product reviews, so sit back, enjoy the channel, get popcorn, get a soda, and I'll see you soon.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And tonight we got a cool guest with us tonight. We have Mr. Len Dorman. How you doing, sir?
I am doing just great.
Awesome. If you did
busy.
catch it, we had a interview with. I was on his show, so definitely go check that out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just busy getting ready to head out to the Cajun Con. I'll be heading out there very early Thursday morning, and I'm talking about before the sun comes up.
I'll be
Got to get down there Thursday night. Be staying in the host hotel, and then Friday morning about 10 o'clock, we're meeting with the people who are throwing the con, and we're going out for some good old Cajun food at a Lafayette restaurant.
Sounds like a good heartburn time.
Well, it depends on how you like your seafood gumbo. You can take it normal, you can take it hot.
Right. Hey, Tom, welcome to Tom. This is Tom's World. Welcome, Tom. We have Mr. Wayne with us tonight again as our co-host. Thank you, sir, for joining us tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So Wayne is part of Small Town Paranormal. If you guys don't know that by now, check him out. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they're all over the place. So definitely check out Small Town Paranormal. And let's cut to the chase. Len?
Yes?
How did you get into the paranormal field and what got you started?
That is a long story.
Well, we got only an hour, so show's over.
We got to go way back in time. Way back in time. And a dinosaur hatched from an egg and came to rule the entire world. But they were hit by God with a big rock, and they died. And the mammals came out, and man came out. And then the top pinnacle of mankind, I was finally born. And as a child, I actually saw a ghost. We lived in a house that was close to a river, the Chattahoochee, close to a creek, and on a small hill, actually on the low side of a hill. And anytime most people don't realize there was anywhere between 50 and 100 million Native Americans when Christopher Columbus came over. Anywhere there was water, you had Native Americans. And there was several known Native American villages in the area. And I used to see Native American spirits in my bedroom.
Wow. So doesn't that scare the shit out of you with Native Americans in your bedroom?
It used to scare me a little bit because I was only about 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, yeah, it would scare me.
I did my first paranormal investigation using just myself when I was 8, 9 years old of an old homestead on my father's family property down in North Florida.
Oh.
They finally let me in there a couple of times. They had the place padlocked just to keep people from living there, but the floor finally got so bad that after a couple of visits, I couldn't go in there anymore because the floor wouldn't even hold me up.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's a scary feeling.
So then of course, there was absolutely no equipment because we're talking early 60s here. There was nothing.
Yeah.
And I always hung around cemeteries. I knew ghosts existed. I'd seen them, flashes out of the corner of my eye, walking around, noises, unexplained phenomenon going on. And then Ghostbusters came out. So it all of a sudden became cool to go out and say, well, I'm here to hunt ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years later, I moved to Chicago and met up with some like-minded people. And there was suddenly equipment available. All of a sudden, stuff that was supposed to be able to find ghosts came out. So I started using different pieces of equipment, saw what worked, what didn't, and just started going to places. And, here I am. I've been using equipment in the paranormal now for almost 20 years.
Were they really expensive now today versus what the products are today?
I had a little $10 those little ghost meters.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Or give you the newer meters, the mel meter, the tri-field, et cetera, et cetera. You're talking about some more money. It was 17, 18 years ago when I was talking to somebody who was getting out of the paranormal, but he did make me a set of lights. And he liked to call it cross spectrum lighting, but he's completely out of the paranormal. He has no copyright or patent on these lights because basically I kind of designed them,
Mm-hmm.
and he built them for me. So I'm trying to get. You ever interview the ghost hunting housewives from Alabama?
Nope.
There are a couple of really nice, really active, very good investigators out of Alabama. One of them is an electronics expert. She also has a 3D printer. So she has seen my lights in action. We did an investigation together back last summer, toward the end of last summer. And she saw where that simple little light, which is only about that big, lit up an entire theater we were investigating. Not with bright, blinding light. I'm talking about with IR, UV, a violet, but basically a black light, a red just into the visual range, just outside of infrared, just past, or should I say inside, infrared, and a green middle of the light spectrum light in the center, with the bank of 6 bulbs of IR and UV. And I lit up the entire theater with just one of those.
Nice.
And it doesn't get it blinding, but you get, with a full spectrum camera, which is just a camera with the IR and UV filters pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
The place was lit up, but you can still see it's bright enough where if something is going about like a shadow figure, but you could see that go by.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's emitting its own light, you can also see it because it's not so bright as to cover up something that's lighting of its own accord.
Right.
And that's why I like cross spectrum lighting. Plus, anything that reflects IR or reflects UV, you got it. You just nailed it.
That's pretty cool.
And that's the kind of lighting I've used now for 17, 18 years. She said that she was going to look at that and try to find that combo and print up some boxes of more modern, because mine's getting kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
And see what she can do with that. I also gave her a little. She likes to do REM pods, showing people how to build them. I gave her one that was only about that long and about that wide, just an antenna with a light.
Mm-hmm.
And she may start putting those out. Extremely cheap, but it works the same way as a REM pod.
Well,
keep those radios away from them.
yeah.
Keep your radios away from them. Keep your mel meters away from them. Keep your K2s away from your mel meters. Keep your tri-fields away from both of them, because that I've seen people have a thing of they strap it to their shoulders. They've got a mel, they've got a K2, they got a tri, they got some other stuff sitting there in front of them, and they're walking around with this whole work board hanging from their shoulders. They better be turning those things off. And now you can have that as long as the K2's off and the mel's off when you're using your tri-field. and you can't have but one of them on at a time.
Yeah. Everything cross, like Ghostbusters. Sorry, don't cross the streams, right?
That's right.
So, Wayne, you got some questions you want to ask Len?
Yeah. So, going kind of off that, what is probably your favorite piece of equipment, and the piece of equipment that you could do without, like that you just don't care for?
Okay. The don't care for is there's so much out there. The one piece I don't care for, and I hesitate to say too much about it because I've only used one for a very short time, but I don't like the premise and I don't like the way it works. And I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's the reason I'm stalling. It's the outline camera that makes the little stick figures.
Oh, the
SLS.
SLS.
SLS, thank you. Because I've seen it pick up pieces of furniture. It can turn a chair into a stick figure. It has sometimes turn a door frame into a stick figure. So that I've seen too much negative rather than positive about that. Favorite piece, there's several. I like to combine pieces. Like I'll go around with a K2 or a Mel, which some people don't like. If I find some, then I'll stop and open up a couple of other pieces of equipment. I'll open up a ghost box, do a ghost box session. I'll open up Echo Box or something like that, and try to use it with, the Mel meter. Again, you can't use your K2 in the Mel, so you got to use one of these. Whatever gets a hit, turn the other one off, and then you can go back there and try to get interactive. And I use my body or myself as a tool. Yeah. So you almost say that myself is a tool, because I'll walk through a place, no equipment, barehanded, not even have any on me, and feel what room I want. And I'll tell them, I want to investigate primarily in here. I said, if somebody wants to walk through here, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I want to stay primarily in here. I may walk around a little bit, take a little video, maybe try something in another room, especially if I'm not getting anything. But I think I'll get something in this room. And that's just opening myself up with what I feel.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So my favorite, I guess you'd say my favorite tool is myself. And in the paranormal, it's myself too.
I agree with that. But it's how you feel like when you walk into a location. There's always that feeling where you're like, okay, this is the room. And that's kind of what sets off the investigation, which is most of the time, which is really cool.
Exactly. I started off working with other people, trying to learn stuff from everybody. And one of the first things I saw, remember, I hadn't really investigated with other people before. And all of a sudden, I see a shadow figure run from the room we were in. He was over standing in the shadows, so I couldn't see him. Run into the other room and into a stairwell and disappeared.
Oh.
And that was one of my first real experiences of carrying equipment. Of course, some people would run, and I ran after him.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of a seance.
Jeez.
That's creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the creepiest things I ever saw, I've actually got that on video if you want to see it later. It's hard to see. You really have to blow it up. So if anybody watching the show, they'll have to full screen the video. And the bigger the screen, the better. It's taken with a full spectrum camera using IR, a little bit of UV light. I had a ghost in front of me. I had a psychic in the back telling me where the ghost was. I could only see, the itty bits and pieces, like a TV that wasn't quite picking stuff up. But I had the video camera going, and in the background, in a hallway, and this is pointed out in the video, a woman comes walking. There was an L-shaped hallway. So the camera was going down the hallway just for a few seconds, and you could see a spirit walk from the side you can't see, the blind side of the L, to standing there waiting for the other girl, the other ghost, to go join her.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see her in a full bell skirt back in the hallway. And I did not see that till I was reviewing the video when I got home. And my wife was looking over my shoulder. She said, "Where's the ghost?" I said, "Right there in front of me." We're kind of touching hands a little bit. She said, "Well, if that's a ghost, who's that in the background?"
Wow.
And it was a place they thought was haunted by one spirit, one of two people. And I found out that it's actually haunted by both the spirits that they suspected. They were both married to own the family members that owned the hotel. It's a haunted hotel in Okraville, Illinois. Over on the west side of Illinois, about 45 miles east of St. Louis.
Wow.
That's interesting.
That was a fun video. Now at another video that I shot, I instead of using camera like I was there, I was using Echovox, and we got several right up front responses to Echovox to questions when we were at the cemetery where most of the people from the Eastland sinking are buried. And also some of the history of Chicago. This is several years after the Titanic sank. And in fact, it was sunk because of the Titanic. Due to new regulations, they had to have a seat for everybody on all ships.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Eastland, the only way to put the lifeboats was up on the third deck. And no, they don't even do that today. They put the lifeboats down low.
Right.
Because it gets top heavy. And the Eastland, one of their swamp pumps didn't work, and where that pumps water constantly in the very bottom of the ship, so it stays centered. They had so many people, they turned one off for a little while. One of them didn't work. And time they got started cranking it back up, it wasn't one of them wasn't enough. So the ship got top heavy, and you had people on that deck too. And between the lifeboats and being overloaded, she started rocking like this, and finally it just flipped over.
No, thank you.
It killed almost exactly the same number of people, but with the Titanic, it was mostly crew that died. If you look at the records, there's not that many passengers who actually died. In the Eastland, very few, well, wasn't many crew members on the boat to start with. There's not a luxury liner out of the Titanic. But very few crew members actually died. It was mostly passengers that worked for Western Electric going on a Sunday to a picnic across Michigan, Lake Michigan.
Jeez.
Yes. That's one of the fun places. There's two locations you can investigate in Chicago. One's the cemetery, and one is where, of course, on the river where the Eastland capsized.
I'd think about that for the next time we go down to, or when we go to Illinois. Wayne.
It's right there. It's right there on the river downtown, and sometimes screams are heard down there. Go with friends. If you and Wayne go, try to find another big guy to go with you. It's not that part of town. That part of town is not a bad part of town during the daytime. I'm not going to have any problem. It's downtown. You got police everywhere. At night, if you go there in the evening time, of course you can get results in the daytime. I've been down in the daytime and heard screams.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go if you go down there at night. Go with 3 or 4 other people.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So you're talking about seances and stuff like that. Uh, how do you feel about seances? Do you think they really work? Do you think that they are just another tool to use? Or do you think they're kind of more on the fake side?
I got in trouble once answering that question on another show years ago. When I answered your question exactly the way you phrased it, I said, and I'll repeat this, and don't mind me, I'm quoting myself. Psychics are a tool.
Yeah.
I don't mean that as an insult. Yeah, that person's a tool. No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, having a psychic around, you have to use them like a tool. Let them go do their thing. Let them do what they want to do. Follow them around, see what they have to say, and then you act accordingly.
Correct.
Depending on what they do. Seances are the same way. It's a tool that acted accordingly on, you can get success from. You don't have to have one, but if somebody wants to do one, I got no qualms about it. It can store up some energy. And if you're on, say, a public tour where you've got other people you don't know, it can be kind of exciting.
Yeah.
One seance I sat in on, you remember me a few minutes ago, I said one of the early things was I saw a figure run from one room to the other. That was during the seance. In another seance, do you remember the airline flight that years ago crashed and killed everybody on board when the engine fell off at O'Hare?
Jesus.
We were in a hotel that just happens to be a quarter of a mile or less from where that plane hit. It hit a trailer park and killed 6 or 7 people on the ground. And we got holding a seance, and I was not taking part too much in the seance. I tried to keep the thing going, holding hands and all that. But I also had a video camera on a stand. And there was something moving. We're in a big square of tables. In between the tables, there was something moving, and the camera was picking up movement where there was nothing but air. And it wasn't like the air conditioner was running. We cut all that off just to kind of square up stuff. But there was something trying to appear. And we had several psychics in the square, and they were actually communicating with whatever was trying to appear.
Wow.
And that was interesting. Like I said, psychics, if you got one, use them.
Yeah.
I got no problem with psychics. I got no problem with a seance. If somebody knows what they're doing with the Ouija board, I don't have that big a problem. I don't know how to use one myself.
Yeah, I don't either.
When I was a kid, I had some babysitters who did. So I was actually involved with, I forgot to mention that one. That's how I got started in paranormal. They would actually use a Ouija board.
Hey, Taryn.
Wow.
Hello, Darren. Darren and Taryn.
Yes. I just had Taryn on my show every once in a while, and she's does a night job where it's a lot harder for her to come on now. So but I see her in chat. She was just at the Hensdale house this past weekend, so that'd be pretty cool to watch Wednesday night's show when she has hers to eventually she'll talk about it. So now, with the seance and stuff like that, we were at this one place in Iowa. It was Cedar Falls, the Women's Club, I believe it was called. And we were up on a higher level, and we were, oh yes, we're having a good one. Oh yeah. And so we had, there's like a maidens' quarters and all that stuff in the upstairs part, because in this women's club it was huge. I mean, it had like a big like stage area. Rolling Hills. Oh yeah, Rolling Hills. They did a 4-hour thing at Rolling Hills. So that place is very interesting. But during the seance, we had crawlers along coming off down this hallway, like on the walls and the ceilings, that are crawling into our seance and kind of like watching us. I was getting touched all over the place, my arms, my legs, my knees. It was crazy. We had candles on the table. The lights were started flickering from the candles and stuff. Those are one of the craziest seances I ever had. Wayne, did you have a crazy one?
I don't think I've ever done a seance. I've never been present for one or done one.
Hey, Carmen.
But
it's an interesting experience. You should try it. Try it one time.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't go there again. But try it once.
I think I would do it. I'd have to have somebody who's done it before.
Yes.
Along with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been through two of them.
Comfortable, but yeah. I would definitely do it.
Yeah, it's definitely I rather let someone else lead it and join in instead of me leading it, because it's like I don't properly know how to get one started except for a hand over under and all that stuff. How you gotta keep the chain going, but anyhow, it's Carmen's birthday, I believe, today. Happy birthday, Carmen!
Yeah, happy birthday, Carmen!
Happy birthday!
So, it's an interesting. That's why I brought it up. As, do you feel like it's fake? Do you feel it's real? Do you think it does its job?
It's so easy to fake it. So easy. Yeah. It's hard to debunk that.
Right.
But you need to have somebody that has done it before and you think is being genuine to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're talking about scaring during it. One of the big scariest things I saw because of a seance, we did one totally non-eventful. Outside of one girl that was in the seance, her belly started growling.
She was hungry.
That's what you get when you're doing a seance at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and somebody ate at 6. It happens. But besides that, nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Until it was me, the guy who ran the seance, and the owner of the place we were in. Now, we were in a very haunted house. And we got a few little voices when we tried to use a ghost box. We also got some interesting EVPs that evening.
Mm-hmm.
But the three of us were standing there. We were just about to say, let's get out of here. But the owner said, do you have any issues? I said, you scared the hell out of everybody in the seance when you turned the heat off. Because we were 3/4 done. He was about to get totally out of the seance. And if either one of you had radiator heat before, this is an older place.
Right.
When it cuts on or cuts off, it sounds like somebody's got a 3-pound hammer beating on the pipes. It is loud. And that's what we had. 3/4 double said bang, 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 bang. He was trying to conduct the seance and couldn't even talk without talking over the banging. Bang, bang, bang. Then he'd hesitate. Bang, bang. Then wait a few seconds. Bang, bang, bang. And we just wrote it off. We even said it in the seance. Oh, that's probably just the heat coming on or off. No big deal. I said, you scared the hell out of everybody in the seance when you cut the heat off. Because we were winding down and about to get out of there.
Right.
So I figured he's cutting the heat off. He said, what are you talking about? I never had the heat on. I looked at the other two and I said, well, if you never turned the heat on, he said, no, it's a temperate day. It wasn't that cold. I didn't think you needed heat. So I left it off. I said, well, what was all that banging on the pipes? The three of us looked at each other and left very quickly. No words were said. We looked at each other. The guy grabbed the keys. We dashed to the door. He locked the door. We all three got in our separate cars and we were gone. And I'm talking about inside of a minute and a half. We realized what happened and we were down the road.
Come on now, you're a paranormal investigator. You're supposed to go towards it, not away from it.
But
I
those
wouldn't
two
even
were
look toward
leaving.
that.
I didn't want to get locked in the house by myself for a week. Yes, he wasn't planning on coming back anytime soon.
That's funny.
But even the guy running the seance was ready to
go. So what do you prefer mostly to investigate? Do you like residential, commercial, and or do you prefer more cemeteries? Because I see there's a lot of teams out there that does just cemeteries, and they don't go to any locations. So that kind of bothers me a little bit because not every cemetery is haunted, but you got to open yourself up to other locations to go do stuff. What do you prefer?
all the above.
Okay.
I am kind of known for my research at Baxter's Grove.
Okay.
It took a while to get done what I did at Baxter's Grove, but I did it. It took me about 2.5 years of research and going there. At one point, I realized that I had gone to Baxter's Grove 16 days in a row. When I was living there. So cemeteries, yeah, it sounds like you go to cemeteries a lot, yeah, but I also go to locations a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have gone on public tours. But I was just talking about a guy doing a seance. Basically, I was there as his camera person, keeping a camera going. That's how I caught that shadow figure one running from one room to another. That's how I caught that appearing at where the airliner crashed. As far as locations go, like this coming week, I want to crank up my show tomorrow talking about Cajun Con here at the house. Now we'll do that tomorrow and Wednesday. Thursday I'll leave. I go down there and I will be staying in the host hotel, and everything in the New Orleans area, although Lafayette is a distant suburb, is haunted, and you can get results. So I'm going to be investigating the hotel Thursday night and Friday night. I probably have somebody with me because both Thursday and Friday there will be other guests at the event. Saturday I will be podcasting the entire Paracon, so try doing that for a change. Get out there with everybody dancing around and screaming at Paracon. But I want to see if I can hook up and do the investigation that night of Vermilionville. And Sunday night, I am leading, working with another group after the Paracon, working with New Orleans Paranormal Society. I am leading at 8 o'clock a tour to 2 haunted locations. Behind the Voodoo Shop is an old slave quarters. I've been there twice before, which is why I basically got my own tour for working for them. And at the Andrew Jackson Hotel, which I have spent a 2-night almost said vacation. The wife was on vacation. I was working. Investigation of the Andrew Jackson.
Nice.
And some of that was public, some of it was not. That will be a public tour. They are selling tickets, $59 each. Contact New Orleans Paranormal Society. They've got most of the tours down New Orleans, and I will be leading that tour Sunday night. Now, when I get home back to the hotel, well, obviously we're not staying in the host hotel for the other in Lafayette. That's almost a 2-hour drive. We'll be staying in the St. Pierre, which is one of the top 15 most haunted hotels in the city of New Orleans and in the oldest building. The building was built in 1787. The owner was building the house at another location of land he did own. They were waiting for 2 years for him to take over it was willed to him, this other location. And he liked that location better for his house. So he took the building he just spent a year putting together, had it 3/4 built, got told to get people to tear it back down, move it to this other location, a mile or so the other side of New Orleans, and rebuild there. And it's now a hotel, and I will be spending 2 nights in that hotel. And yes, I will be podcasting live to see what I get from that hotel.
There you go.
So that covers everything you said.
Yep.
Do I public? Yes. Do I do cemeteries? Yes. Do I investigate by myself when I'm in a haunted hotel? Oh yeah, you better believe I do.
Mm-hmm.
And they have there's 2 spirits, maybe 3. One is a footman. He works in an old uniform and has appeared daytime and nighttime at the front door. And they're saying he may have been one of the last people to have actually worked the front door. You know, they used to have people open the door for you and help you in the lobby with your luggage. There's somebody there, and people that have seen him says he looks solid as a living person. But he's polite, helps them out of their car, gets their luggage out, helps them in the hotel, but they turn around and he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is a Confederate soldier. This was an old mansion, so it has several garden areas inside of it, little courtyards. There's a Confederate soldier that likes to hang out at one of the courtyards. One guy stayed in that mansion, in now the St. Pierre. And you know how you sleep and your hand sometimes goes down between the mattress and the wall, the head of the bed? His hand slid down there, and he swears on his life that his hand was grabbed by a clammy hand.
Someone didn't make it out.
And this house did survive the 2 fires that New Orleans was subjected to.
Jeez.
So it's one of the older houses there. It's got 2 swimming pools, one outside, one inside. So I'll be down there enjoying the pool and doing some ghost hunting in the hotel I'll be staying at.
Nice.
Sounds
Wayne,
like a good time.
oh, it would be. I imagine it would be. If you're in New Orleans, why not?
Yeah.
And I'm only 6 hours from New Orleans from where I'm sitting.
Yeah. That's
Driving
not
the
bad
speed
trip
limit,
either.
I can jump in the car, and in 6 hours I could be on Bourbon Street.
Wow.
Oh, I tried to find the video, but I've misplaced it. When I was down in St. John's Parish at that theater, I was telling about light that I lit up with my light.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back toward Arkansas, we went a little bit further west than we would have coming back home, because we kind of live on the little bit of the east side, southeast. And we stopped by a museum, the Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum. I went to their location and on a ghost box and an echo box. You use them, both of them. Bonnie did not like me asking questions. She kept saying, "Go away, leave." I got Clyde to say, "I did not want to go back to prison."
Wow.
Well, I imagine not. Back in those days, it was rough.
And he was known to have said that while he was alive. Somebody asked him why he was doing this. He said, "I don't want to go back to prison." Because he knew if he turned himself in, he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. And if they caught him alive, he was going to go to prison the rest of his life. So the only way they could get him was to kill him. And that's the way they did it. And yeah, I was at the spot where they got shot. There's a little marker there. And we toured the museum before. Inside the museum, the Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum, is where they stopped to get a little bite to eat on their final drive. The front of it is the old cafe where they stopped. Bonnie sat in the car. Clyde went inside, sat down on a stool, ordered a couple of sandwiches. The stool is still sitting there in that museum.
Wow.
So I'm sitting on this stool for a while. That was the stool that Clyde sat on. Got in the car, drove the exact same route they did to the spot where they were shot.
Jeez.
But that's another thing. You ask which one I prefer. I was kind of in public in the museum, but when I got the EVPs or ghost box answers, I was actually just the wife was just sitting in the car, And I had the ghost box at one point on the car, one point on the memorial there. That's all shot up from right there where they were shot.
Wayne, you got some questions to ask?
Yeah. Now that we're kind of talking about that kind of thing, like the museums and stuff, what do you think about like what's your view on haunted objects? Like, do you think objects can hold that kind of energy and kind of make a place haunted? I guess I'm trying to figure out how best way to word that.
I think I know what you're getting at. You're talking about haunted dolls, or
Yeah, like Key West has Robert.
they can hold an energy. Like in the Ambush Museum, they've got a car that's just full of bullet holes. This car was one that was used in a movie. Does it still have energy? Yes. Is it the original car? No. The original car is in Vegas, in one of their resort areas, one of their great big grand hotels out there. That's where the original Bonnie and Clyde car is. The two are almost identical because they shot it up the same way, trying to shoot these holes. And you've all to take an outline of the holes and measure to tell the difference between the two. You got to look at the picture, the original picture. So you got to watch what museum you're going to. But does that car still hold energy? Yes, it's got the movie history, and of course, it's got the local energy. They pull it out to do a parade on the anniversary of them being shot. They have to have a parade in this town.
Wow.
So the energy builds up, and can objects hold it? Apparently, they can. Because if people die in a house, their energy is residing. And of course, I'm a believer in the thought that water holds spirits, and a hard rock like granite or limestone can also hold spirit energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like in the John Dillinger. I think his is faded away. They will fade over time. And John Dillinger's ghost has not been seen in the alleyway where he was shot in quite a few years. And it's not for people not looking. Now, they recently put a mural of John Dillinger in that alley with his head right almost above right where John Dillinger fell. Now, would that recreate the energy? I'm not sure. I'm supposedly working with a friend of mine, Tony Zabisky. He does tours in Chicago. Well, he's going to either lead a tour to the alley on the anniversary of the John Dillinger shooting. I'm going to go live. He's going to step in, showing the alleyway live. And I've got on my DVR player a rare copy of Manhattan Melodrama. Wow. And what I'm going to try to do is time it about right where the movie ends and he has time to walk out. And Tony is going to try to arrange things where he can get in there and be in the alley at the time John Dillinger was shot on the anniversary. After I can't play the whole movie, copyright. YouTube's funny about that. But I can hear it set on low volume and talk over it. Because I don't know who owns the copyright to that movie. That movie is so old. But the Manhattan Melodrama, of course, is, if you know the history, is the movie that they watched in that theater the night he was shot.
Wow.
Interesting.
And that's one thing that excites me about the paranormal, as you can tell by my voice, is the history.
Yeah.
Of the place. And that you study history and become a student of history, and the paranormal just kind of comes rolling right in with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it really makes up the place and drives that place once you get going with it, and then what's all could potentially be there, it really starts showing itself in a way.
That's how I
Yeah.
found remember the white lady of Bachelor's Grove?
Yep.
Dale Kazmarek took the famous picture of the girl on the stone.
Yep.
Judy Huff owns the copyright. In fact, Judy Huff appeared on Ghost Adventures when they were doing the ones out of his museum.
Mm-hmm.
And they checked, I think 2 different times, the negative by their photographic experts. And the negative has not been messed with. It's there. It was not put there, and they could tell that. But
yeah, I know who Dale is. I've had him on the show before.
Dale is a great guy. He and I are good friends. He actually was in the paranormal doing investigations when I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
That showed you how long he's been in this business.
Long time.
Long time. But he could not find out who it was. I got into the Humphrey house to track down a photo, their wedding photo, the people who built the house. And I got a picture of it. I took the picture of their wedding picture, taken in 1863. So you imagine what kind of quality that photo was, or it is. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Very yellow. Very, very yellow.
Yeah.
If you want to know what kind, it's kind of like the color. It varies from a yellow, almost like the lights you've got running between us, to almost the color of the wall behind you, Darren.
Yeah.
That kind of, it looks like it's really messed up. Photography was in its infancy in 1863 when this photo was taken.
Yeah.
Side by side, nobody had ever done this before. I put that wedding picture side by side with Dale's picture and showed it to Dale. He's the first person I showed it to. She's wearing the same dress.
Wow.
The same hairstyle, even one's face on, the other one's a profile. You can tell it's the same person facially, same hairstyle, and the same cotton picking dress on. She was appearing in Bachelor's Grove in her wedding dress.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And then I had to find out, why would she come to this cemetery? And that's the whole thing. They had 4 or 5 names. Oh, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them were buried there.
Hey, Laura.
So we had to trace back what's drawing them here, if they're not buried there. Come to find out that Amelia Patrick Humphrey, Patrick being her maiden name, their firstborn child is still buried in Bachelor's Grove. And that's why she would come in there at dusk almost every night to come and pull her child out of there so she wouldn't be involved in all the crap that goes on there in that cemetery at night.
Wow.
Very interesting.
So it took me 2 years to figure that out.
Jeez. Do you have a bucket list? Top 5 bucket list?
Some things I'll get to, some things I never will. People say, what's your dream investigation? The White House.
Yeah, we'll never get there.
I would love to investigate the White House. As far as places I want to go that I can actually achieve, I do want to get to the Crescent Hotel, which is in Eureka.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually 2 hotels in Eureka Springs that are haunted. I would like to hit both of them, maybe spend 2 nights at the Crescent, 2 nights at the other one. And of course, that's a pretty good trip. The Crescent's a very expensive place to stay. You just go in there and spend a night. You're talking $200 plus a night.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you get to go around and check it out during the day and the nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do that. I want to get to Hot Springs, very achievable goal.
Yep.
There is a restaurant that used to have a statue of Al Capone sitting on a bench out in front of their place. They used it for advertising. Trouble is that once a year, once every few months, 12, 18 months, uninterested money keep pouring in. That's good of the people, Laura.
Oh yeah.
But
Gee.
the statue kept getting stolen. But it also got brought back by everybody who stole it because Al Capone haunted them until they brought the statue back. So now the same restaurant has Al Capone inside. So they'll get up at night so nobody steals it. Which is kind of, is it ironic that one of the greatest crooks from the 20th century had his statue stolen several times? Al Capone stole so much and he's getting stolen. So that what I want to do is talk to the restaurant and maybe after they close, while they're cleaning up, go in there and sit there and have a conversation with the statue by Ghost Vox and Echo Vox, whatever works, and talk to Al, who does not like me. He has contacted me before. He does not like me because I kind of moved out. I said, when you say move on, it usually means they went to another area. His buddy Bruno Rodi was caught in a place. I don't know if Al was trying to keep him there or not, but he was also keeping 20 spirits locked into a building. And I worked with a psychic to go in there and freed Bruno up, and Bruno freed the other 20 up.
Jeez.
Oh.
And
Bruno for interesting location then.
Yeah, Bruno Rodi was Al Capone's #1 bomb guy. If Al Capone blew it up, it was Bruno who set the timer or lit the fuse. So he knew where he was going if he moved on.
Right.
But we got him where he could at least move around and leave the place. He was stuck in the place where he was had his funeral. It was an old funeral home that was a funeral home for about 95 years, and the car took it over.
Wow.
And that was fun. Investigating a bar after they closed.
Funeral homes are interesting. I definitely want to get to the one in Iowa, Kansas. Sleeper Mortuary.
Okay.
Have you heard of that one?
I've vaguely heard of it. I don't know if I'll ever get there or not. Yep. I hesitate to put that on my bucket list because that may be an unobtainium.
Yeah, Tori Westhoff owns that place. It's 15,000 square feet.
Wow.
That's a lot of walking.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it's...
I may let you do that because on artificial knees, that's a lot of hiking for me.
I suppose you can't let them talk to one another and say, walk for me. That's funny. So you got some videos you would like to show. How long are the videos you got?
They're as long as one of them is quite long. You don't want to show the whole thing.
Okay.
So you have the power over that once I load them up.
Let's show one of the shorter ones you got, because we are getting close to the top of the hour here.
All right, I'll show you the one where I first met Libby May. Let me go in there. Just talk, or you run a commercial during your show?
No, we just talk.
Okay, y'all go ahead and talk. Let me change rooms. I'll be audio only. Got a set of headsets in there, no camera.
Okay.
So let me go in there and throw that short video up. It will be Libby May, one of our first contacts with Libby May.
Okay. Oh, we're doing good, Laura. Just got stuff moving on tonight. You're at work? Yeah. Hope everything's going well for you at work. And it's been a minute since I seen you in the chat room, but hey, we're all busy, you know. And I stream to BB3 TV's YouTube channel now, along with my YouTube channel, and then the Brew on Facebook. So, but Wayne, interesting stuff. What do you think? What are you taking from this right now?
Lots of experience. It was cool to kind of hear what he had like when he first started investigating versus everything you can have now.
Mm-hmm.
You know. The Crescent's definitely on my list too. I want to get down to the Crescent Hotel.
I heard lots about it. Where is that one located again? Is that in Pennsylvania?
No,
I
want to say
Crescent
it's
Hotel is in Eureka.
Eureka.
Arkansas, or Eureka, Kansas.
Eureka, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
We have that phantom voice in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, if you put me in the room,
Doesn't mean with just the avatar.
I believe. Yeah, just hold on a second. Oh, that's you, Wayne. Sorry. Oh, what the heck? For some reason, it doesn't want to. Well,
it shows
poop.
it being available.
Well, I can hear you, so it's just audio. So if you want to play it,
All right. I'm trying to remember where I put it.
Sometimes it's out here 2 people, but the camera quality was so good. I want to hire 4. What stops today? Try it free. Good morning.
he's surfing. We can hear audio, just so you know.
Okay, there you go. You should.
Yep.
This is the K2 meter.
What you're hearing is a cold spot, or am I K2?
A temperature sensor.
Yes, the ambient temperature K2. Any heat from the sun. I'm about close enough.
You notice I'm in the shade. There's no sun shining.
Because the temperature change. Thank you. Do you like making my K2 meter ambient temperature buzz? Go ahead and make it buzz again if you want. Come on, I know you can do it. Temperature under this tree is in the probably mid 80s. As you can see, if you walk in the front gate of Bachelor's Grove, go arc to the right, You made the temperature go down, then you made it go up. Long way before sundown. You like coming over here and touching my hand? Or do you like the sound my meter makes?
We can cut it off right there if you want. Oh.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to get the Bachelor's Grove, Wayne, with John and Abby.
We should, yeah.
I mean, that's something that's very. I mean, I'm sure you could only get there during the daytime, but
That,
Bachelor's Grove.
That
Can you go
was-
there?
do what now?
Bachelor's Grove. Can you go there daytime and nighttime, or is it just daytime?
You can only go there during the daytime, except with special permission.
Okay.
Sometimes you can catch a tour there. Now, I myself spent an entire night there. I got dropped off at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't get picked up at 8 o'clock the next morning. Yes,
Where'd you sleep?
I didn't.
Wow.
I stayed up all night. A paranormal group snuck in there and I actually gave them a tour of the place at 1 o'clock in the morning. But outside of that, I was by myself. Me and the coyotes. There were coyotes howling the entire night, and they finally come to see me after 7.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, 2 coyotes walked up to the entrance.
No, at Bachelor's Grove, that's also with the house that kind of disappears and reappears, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I have never seen the house myself. I've talked to people who had, and they swear it's a 2-story house. And they found out just a few years ago, in fact, since I've moved down here to Arkansas, that there was a house a mile or so away that fits the description of what people described.
I wonder if they get lost and then backtrack and then come back to the house again. Like they feel like maybe it disappeared and they come back to it and it's here again. You know, it's kind of hard. I find it hard for a 2-story house would just disappear.
Well, people see it like it's close and start walking toward it and it moves away from them. Maybe it's projecting itself to the cemetery from its where it used to be, and then when you start walking toward it, it maybe just starts fading back to where it used to sit and goes out of sight.
That could be. That sounds just like an experiment.
Yeah, that's just a theory that fits the facts, the way it acts.
Right.
Now that I talked to the person who put that temperature probe on the K2, and they said it's impossible to make it do that sound with any kind of temperature change. The tone, if you sit it in a refrigerator, say at 40 degrees, and bring it out to your 80-degree kitchen,
Right.
The pitch is so high you can hardly hear it.
Jeez.
And you heard that with there's no reason for the temperature to change, and you heard that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
This was the only location it would do that. Now, when I fired it up at other locations, when somebody turned the air conditioning on, it would make a slight tone, and we'd have to turn it off when the AC popped on because it was
Right.
you could hear it slightly, nowhere near the volume that you just heard.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
pretty
totally unexplainable. The only way I can make the K2 mimic that sound is if I physically put my fingers on it and rapidly, touch and untouch it.
Yep.
I have to do this to it to make it similar.
Yeah.
And that's the
I know
only way I can mimic that sound.
if you shake the K2, it lights up too.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that plenty.
But you see, I wasn't touching it when it was doing that. Now,
No,
one thing about
the
Baxter's
noise-
Grove, that none of the
noise is
lights
really
work.
good.
But K2 males, you don't get those readings at Baxter's Grove. I've seen my K2 lit up once for a half a second in Baxter's Grove, and that's it. So I saw somebody with a male, it lit up for a second or two, and that's it. Somebody with a ghost meter made it flash once, and that's all I've ever seen all my time at Baxter's Grove with meters flashing anything. They just don't interact with meters there.
Yeah. Well, I bet you the EVPs are amazing though.
Oh,
The EVPs are amazing. Ghost box are amazing. At one of there's people used to live in that area. Of course, that's why they call it Baxter's Grove. There's house foundations. I was at a house foundation, about a 10-minute walk from the cemetery, past it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were listening for about 3 hours. There's three of us just killing time on a Sunday afternoon. It was nice. The weather was absolutely stunning. You see the forest around there is beautiful. It's springtime. And we just didn't want to leave. It was just too pretty. We did not want to go back. All three of us lived in the city, and we didn't want to go back into Chicago. We were enjoying ourselves in the woods, but we were getting nothing. We were getting about ready to go when all of a sudden I heard a loud crackle in my Echo Box, and having not gotten even a syllable of a word all day, I hear a male laughing. And a female voice came in and said, "What are you laughing at?" And the male voice come out, "She's wearing a blonde hat." What? She's wearing what? She's wearing a blonde hat. Then I heard the man and the woman laughing, another loud noise, silence. The rest of the time we were there. The girl I was with, she was biracial and had her hair just short cropped on her head. But she always wore a long blonde wig. And if you look up about the time that the people were homesteading there in the Baxter's Grove area, there was no English word for wig. They called them hats.
Yeah,
and they were laughing. They were laughing at her blonde wig that she wore.
That makes sense, though. I mean, back in the day, I mean, you don't really know what to call things sometimes.
Right.
You know.
And the word wig hadn't been come up with yet, and they just called them hats because it was on top of your head like a hat. And we sat there and just looked at each other. What in the world, was that? Because you Echovox, the way it works, it's got soundings in it. That's it. It's got a bank. Yes. Some people say, well, you can program it to do words. If I broke into their programming, I could put a word in there, and it can through the echo, repeat a word you said.
Yeah.
But when you got a complete sentence, what have you got? You got
Right.
something talking between the noise.
Mhm.
See, when we use Spirit Talker, and that's an app on the phone, just so everybody knows. Sometimes we get one words at a time. Sometimes we get a full sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And when you get a full sentence, what have you got?
I mean, it's just you're talking to somebody. Literally, it's
Yeah.
It's not like we were thinking at some point, okay, when we had the Spirit Talker on, when we start talking things and spits out words that we're trying to get, and we do
Mhm.
get some of these words, is it listening to us to spit out that word for us? But then once you get that sentence, it's just like, okay, well, where the hell did that come from? Because we didn't
Yeah.
talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it does work. It does have a word bank,
Yes.
just like any other one has a word bank. I can't think of one that doesn't have a word bank.
Yeah.
But that's something you got to deal with when you do with apps. So, well, we're
Well,
beyond
with the
9
ghost box,
o'clock.
if you're picking up a radio signal,
Right.
if you're picking up a radio signal, you got to worry about
Uh-oh. We lost line here for a second.
A
Uh-oh.
few seconds.
What's that?
A few seconds. And
He's gone.
yeah.
Uh-oh. Yep, he's gone.
Well, in the stream with audio only.
Yep.
You there, Len? There he is. Maybe.
There he is.
My internet shut down for a second.
Paranormal.
Yeah. My signal. I live in the woods. I do not have fiber optic available here yet. Basically, I work off cell phone towers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gamers here, and I'm sharing the towers with a lot of gamers. And sometimes if they get a little bit hyperactive in their gaming, it knocks me off another tower.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
I just got knocked off.
So, Wayne, do you have
Hopefully,
any...
I can get a fiber optic in the next year. You got anything else,
Me
Wayne?
too. Do you get any more questions you want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
I think I'm good there.
Okay.
It was a pleasure talking with you, and that Bachelor's Grove video was very interesting. We're gonna have to head down that way for sure.
Well, it's not as haunted as it used to be because I got Libby May, who died at 11 months and 4 days old, by the way. That's her way of playing with my K2 meter. I actually had her little ghost fingers on it, making that tune for you. I've got several videos of her doing different tunes. But I got her and her mother, she followed me home a couple of times. So she learned how to move, something she could not do before.
Mm-hmm.
And now her mother does not have to come and get her every night. They spend more time at the house where I was talking about with the heat.
Mhm.
That's the Humphrey house, and that was their house. And now they spend more time there because Libby May can move to the house by herself now. She doesn't have to have her mother.
Wow.
So it's not as haunted during the daytime as it used to be. And the cemetery is being cut now at night by the Forest Preserve people and maintained. Nobody's going there and painting all over the headstones like they were. So it's actually less haunted than it was before. And part of that is my fault.
Well, it's being maintained and they're happy that it's being maintained. So
exactly.
And is the is the Humphrey House where you that wasn't the seance one, was it? That was a different place, right?
Yes. No,
Okay.
that was a seance place.
Okay, where was that place? Was that was like you said a hotel or a?
No, the first seance where I talked about where we had the big square. That was
Oh
a
yeah.
different seance. That was actually done near O'Hare, the opposite end of
Oh, okay.
Chicago from the Humphrey House is actually Midlothian. No, not Midlothian. Shoot, I can't think of the name of the town. It's actually a southern suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
So it's actually the other end of Chicago from where the plane crash was by O'Hare.
Okay.
It's two different seances I was talking about, but it was the Humphrey House where had the heat incident.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go. That's probably what you're looking at. The heat incident.
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the Humphrey House, and now Libby May and Amelia stay there more than the cemetery because they don't even stay in the cemetery anymore.
Right. Makes
Okay.
sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Len, so how can people get a hold of you?
Yes.
And what do you got coming up?
Well, to get hold of me, just look up, put my name in Facebook, Len Dorman. There I am. I've got near max as far as friends go. I can get a few more, but I'm close to the max. So you just look at Len Dorman, you come right to me. On YouTube, where I also put all my shows, you do know that Facebook is starting July 1st is no longer going to store videos. They keep it. You post a video on YouTube, they keep it for 30 days. They take it down.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're running out of storeroom. So I archive everything and post. Put the show live on YouTube. So you look up I've got a check mark. So look up again, Len Dorman, L-E-N-D, like right. There.
Yep.
You put that in there, takes you right to my channel.
Okay.
Like, share, and subscribe to that. You can watch all my shows, even after I pretty well stopped sending them to the page I've got, the Southern Fried Paranormal page on YouTube. I've been on Facebook. I will not be sitting on there after July because Facebook refuses to archive them. I'll send them a show on my main page just to have it there, and they can take it down after 30 days. But I'm archiving everything on YouTube now.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to make a note of that.
Word of advice. Parapost, my network is going to start opening up YouTube page and archiving all their other shows on their Facebook. Oh, excuse me, not instead of their Facebook, putting them on YouTube channel. So they're getting that together.
Okay.
It's as far as by what I'm going to do. Oh boy, I'm going to be podcasting every day for the next week. As far as getting ready to go to the Cajun Con, which will be this coming Saturday, I will be podcasting from Lafayette, Louisiana, live during the whole Paracon. If I talk to Dave Schrader, I get him to say hello to you.
Oh boy, I can't wait for that invite.
If Mike Galliano, the Goat Man, you've seen him before.
Yeah,
got the show. Beacon TV, the owners of Beacon TV will be there. The producers of his show will be there. Mike and I have developed a pretty good friendship. We're going to be at the Cajun Country Paracon this coming weekend. We're also going to get together in the middle of July for the Paranormal Rockdown.
Oh, okay.
Up in Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
So that's going to be fun. Anytime with the Goat Man is funny. If you've seen his videos or seen his show, of course, which can be streamed on Beacon TV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to talk them up to at least give me a free membership in Beacon TV for mentioning their name, Beacon TV. Maybe they give me 50 cents off every time I say Beacon TV.
You up to a couple bucks already.
Yeah.
Go watch Beacon TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Follow Len
Watch and
Dorman.
enjoy it. Stream it home. But that's what I got coming this week. It's going to be a busy week. I'm just going to do two short shows from here at the house. Just me talking about the Cajun Country Paracon. I share a lot of their videos that they throw up on Facebook because that's kind of my thing.
Right.
And then Thursday night I'll be doing a podcast and probably an Echo Vox and maybe a Ghost Box session from the host hotel Thursday and Friday night. Then I'm on broadcast as much as I can. It's going to be kind of a walking ghost hunt in Vermilionville.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how much of that will get to broadcast, but I will be podcasting their entire Paracon. That's this coming Saturday from about 10 o'clock in the morning till probably 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then Sunday, Sunday morning, we're hauling butt out of Lafayette and going to the St. Pierre in New Orleans in the French Quarter. And to start with, I got a tour at 8 o'clock. You got to contact New Orleans Paranormal Society. They do a lot of the tours down there. And they're the only tour group that will actually put you in a haunted location, let you do a ghost hunt. So at 8 o'clock, that tour will start, and I will be leading the investigation for that tour, places that I'm familiar with. So you contact them and buy some tickets from them, $59. That's not bad when you have people, their experience in ghost hunting. And of course, me bringing quite a few years of experience and experience being in the two places, one of them being the Andrew Jackson Hotel. And we did not have time to show the Andrew Jackson Hotel video, but we spent 2 nights there before several years ago, and there was a ghost in the room with us.
Mm.
He was actually watching Game of Thrones with my wife. And where
I
we
bet
go,
look at that nude scene.
yeah. That they actually have a spirit that stays there in the room next to the room we were staying in.
Jeez.
So I have some experience with the ghosts there at the Andrew Jackson. So like I said, I'll be leading that investigation Sunday night. Afterward, I'll come home and come back to the hotel St. Pierre and do an investigation there on my own, do a Ghost Box, Echo Vox session, maybe tour around the hotel a little bit. And then I'll be doing the same thing Monday night. And then we'll be headed home. Nice. So I'm gonna be 8 days in a row counting this show on the internet.
There you go.
And talking about it. So it's gonna be a very busy week. I gotta haul this computer that I'm on now down there and demonstrate what I can do during a Paracon. Like I said, I will be doing it live, and I'll probably be doing live Ghost Box sessions with some people. If you know Mike, he is a Las Vegas comedian, and he puts the E in paranormal with his show. His big gag is constantly looking for food. So we're going to have snackies for him. He likes to wear a goat head, and if the temperature is right, if it's not too hot down there this Saturday, he probably will be in his complete goat outfit.
I was just going to say, I'm sure he's got one.
Yes, he does. If you look at the official banner for this Paracon, it's got a Volkswagen van with a goat driving it.
That's funny.
So, Mike and I are hilarious. He's been on my show. I've talked on his. You know Bill from Broadhead Manor, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You know he's in a business other than the Broadhead Manor. He sells nuts, walnuts.
Bill's nuts.
Bill's
you want
nuts.
Salted nuts? You want plain nuts?
Well, Mike is thinking about getting into a similar business for salted nuts, unsalted nuts, walnuts, whatever. And they want me to bring, since I'm from Georgia, which is known for peanuts, some roasted peanuts that we can stick in an RC like we do down here south. That's how you eat peanuts. You get you an RC, drink about a quarter of it, and then you get some roasted nuts and you put them down the neck of the bottle. and then you drink your RC, and you get a couple of peanuts in your mouth. You chop on them a little bit, wash them down with some RC, put a few more peanuts in the bottle. But and they want me to bring some boiled peanuts. Yeah, Georgia's known for its boiled peanuts. So at Broadhead Manor in July, you're going to see me, Bill, and Mike probably sitting there talking about and sampling each other's nuts.
Oh, that's
Now,
okay.
how far off the
X-rated
rails
for that
are we?
one. So that you're not saying they got one saying you're sucking on nuts.
Well, it depends. You
Nuts
put the
on
roasted
chins.
nuts. You put the roasted nuts in the RC. You sometimes got to suck them out of the neck.
Oh, we're going south real fast.
The show is crashed and burned just in time for you to end it.
Oh, Mr. Len Dorman, thank you for being on with us tonight. If you're not joining us on Paranormal Brew on Facebook, and then also MGS Paranormal 4258 and BB3 TV on YouTube, that's where you can find our shows on every other Monday. So next Monday we'll be off. So for Wayne, Len, and I'm Darren, I bid you adieu.
You're over here. Good night, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
So,
it's a pleasure.
We'll have to bring you back on for the other videos, but so for that, so long, everybody. Catch you in 2 weeks.
Good night.
Good night.